Mickey Mouse is an international icon. His image can be found in every public place, whether it's down on someone's t-shirt or up high on a billboard. His face is arguably the most recognizable one in media today, but can the same be said about his creator? Walter Elias Disney was born on December 5th, 1901. His family moved to Marceline, Missouri when he was just a baby, where he fell in love with the small town vibe. Early on, he began to show a love for drawing cartoons, which often got him into trouble. In 1917, the Disneys moved to Chicago, where Walt began to develop his dexterity in drawing by becoming a cartoonist for the school newspaper. His dream was to one day become a cartoonist for a prominent newspaper. Unfortunately, his dreams were interrupted by the start of World War I. Walt did his part and served as an ambulance driver in France and Germany. Upon returning to America, he befriended a man named Ub Iwerks, and together the two of them started their own small film company. Although they struggled a little bit financially at first, with the help of Walt's older brother Roy, they began to see some growth. They started small, with little 2-minute animated sketches. To star in these sketches, they created our cartoon character known as, say it with me, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. That's right, before Mickey Mouse was invented, they had a rabbit named Oswald. Unfortunately, a series of events took Oswald away from them, but they didn't let that get them down. Instead, the two of them created Mickey, and his cartoons became wildly successful. The popularity of those cartoons was able to fund a little experiment of Walt's. He decided to make a feature-length animated film. Now, this had never been done before, and nobody thought it was going to work. But after 3 long years of hard work, in 1937, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was released. It became an instant hit, and it even won its own custom-made Oscar. With the introduction of animation to the big screen, the history of film had forever been changed. Walt went on to create several more animated films, all of which have become classics that every kid grows up watching. But Walt didn't stop there. He had always dreamed of having a clean and exciting place for his kids to play in. So after buying a big piece of land in Anaheim, California, he built Disneyland, the world's very first theme park. It featured characters from his animated films, as well as a main street reminiscent of his beloved Marceline. It became a must-do for tourists from around the world and has hosted millions of people every year. But Walt decided even that wasn't good enough. He decided to build a second theme park on the other coast of the United States. We now know that park as Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida. Unfortunately, Walt never got to see the completion of that second park due to his death in 1966, 5 years before the park opened. But luckily for him, his legacy has lived on through the company that he created. That company has now created over 60 animated films, as well as a plethora of live-action ones. There are now 6 total theme parks around the world, as well as a resort in Hawaii, all of which are wildly successful. That company has a streaming platform, a cruise line, private islands, the timeshare program, and several other installments. The names of Disney and Mickey Mouse have become recognized the world over. It was all thanks to one man and his creation. As Walt himself stated, I hope that we never lose sight of one thing, that it was all started by us. Thank you.